Hold on a second. I'm trying to refute something that Mike Griffith said here. Just stand by. I'm looking at the so I'm looking at the crowd shot here. Here. Let me show this to you real quick. That looks like a pretty good crowd there. That's on the
yeah, and that's the tower side.
Basically
there. Yeah, and then the left lane is where the pit row is for the Cup cars, and they have a pretty good right there.
Yeah.
That previous shot there.
By the way,
there
you go. Yeah. So that's not a bad crowd there.
Yeah. Well, the weather was perfect. I understand.
I guess it might be as filled in as probably. Maybe it's an optical illusion. What we're talking about here with Blake Bowser, by the way, for those of you who just kind of joined us here, is the Sonoma Nationals. And Blake Bowser, of course, the general manager and vice president of the Autoclub Famoso Raceway. And we wanted to talk to him a little bit. Well, they've got things going on coming up here real quick here. Around August, you guys are back to work. We'll talk about ANRA and your red light event that's going to come up here. But we want to just jump in. Actually, let's just show that real quick. We got let's go through some of the scheduled events we have here at Autoclub Famoso Raceway. But don't forget about this stuff. It's coming up. And we're going to do the Grumpy Griff. But coming up the 22nd is the Red Light Series number 2. And then the 28th and 30th is going to be ANRA. But Red Light Series, we've talked about that. That's a growing event and an interesting story too, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's Red Line.
Red Line, I'm sorry.
But that's okay. They're still going to have it.
Yeah.
No, it's a Saturday night street race. It's encourage everybody to get off the street and on the strip, and it's a lot of awards, big car show right there in the staging lanes. It's going to be a cool deal. So we're going to run it all at night. So if it happens to be warm that day, it's okay. We're going to turn the lights on and have some fun. The guy renting the track is I don't know if he's a former street racer, but he definitely has gone quick on the street and actually had an incident at our track, and he realized how much safety features we do have there at the track, and everything was cool. So we won him over, so to speak. Took that incident to do it, but unfortunately that happened. But he's all for racing on the strip now is what I'm trying to say. So it's pretty cool. It's
going to be from 7 to midnight on the 22nd, and you can go to Autoclub Famoso's website, famosoraceway.com, to get all the details on there. Also on their Facebook page, apparently, it's facebook.com/the Red List Group, which has more information.
Did I say Red Line, Red List? It is Red List.
It says Red List, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Red List Group
we both
in the Red Light
right.
Series. So there we go. Something like that. Night race and car show. But you know what? There's nothing better than a good night race.
No, it's great out there.
I really enjoyed the last time we were out there for a night event. So it was really fantastic. And then ANRA's Summer Nationals coming up on the 28th, so it means we'll see Butch here in the next couple of weeks talking about their event. And, we always say that the summer might limit his car count, but it could be a big number, though.
It usually is. And we've been so quiet most of the summer, all of July, so I think it's going to help. Guys are antsy to get back on the track, so should be good. And then we'll come back with September, and full September. We get through Labor Day, and then we've got a bunch coming up there too, and in October it's just nonstop.
Right, and then October 23rd to the 25th is the Hot Rod Reunion. And what are your initial expectations for that?
Well, it's funny car. That's the big news.
Right.
And what's cool about the reunion this year is they've added that third qualifying session. A lot of guys really struggle with only having 2. So both Top Fuel and Funny Car will have a third qualifier, 2 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and then first round Saturday evening, just like the March meet is. So that's going to really help. It's going to encourage. In fact, there's a race being put together in Phoenix like the weekend or 2 weekends before. So now a lot of guys are going to come out and stay out west. So it's really going to help the car count a lot. So, it's going to be a great show.
Car count was never
never an issue. It's just going to get better.
But you can get better.
Exactly.
What would be the top end on funny cars that you could handle on car count?
Oh, car count?
Yeah.
Oh, we could take really anything because we only qualify 16.
Right.
So, I could have 50 there. That'd
be fun.
That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if there was like a limit of where you wanted to be.
Well, certainly we'd be pit space is our limit.
Yeah, right.
How much room do we have?
We'll just move some other stuff around. Move some things out.
Obviously we're at the mercy of how the cars perform. Do they stay clean? Do they, any incidents? Obviously, the more oil on the quarter mile, the less time we have to run cars. So that's our biggest issue is the more cars you bring in, the chances increase that something can happen. So that's our biggest challenge.
And as you get closer, we've been talking about there's some things you've been working on. Are you closer to any announcements coming up for the 2016 season, or what are you?
Yeah. Still, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Ask me again in a few weeks.
Yeah,
There we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like
we
that,
do
yeah.
we pretty much have the March meet date figured out. Just finalizing a couple little things, but
Is
looking
the March
pretty
meet
good.
date still
It's still consistent.
determined by NHRA?
NHRA and things that are happening. I've been talking with the guys that do the Sportsman RV show, and they got their date set. They're going to go the last weekend of February. So that's I read that in the paper. I saw that in the calendar there for next year. So maybe it was in the magazine that comes out. Yeah. So things just got to kind of little things fall in place, and we all work together and try and avoid each other. And we certainly try and work with those guys there that put the show on. And we don't want the same weekend as they do, and they don't want the same weekend as us. So.
Regardless,
a few things fall in
it's
place.
March and February are some of the great sports weekends in Kern County. We got the state wrestling, and you got the March meet. It's just a lot of fun.
Just sports in general. Everything gets going, I
Absolutely.
mean, the Winter
Speedway.
Nationals and the Daytona 500, and then we get
got
into
the
March
local tracks
Madness.
opening
And
up.
Right.
sports in general just really
Yeah.
gets going in the spring. It's a lot of fun.
And probably within 2 years, we'll probably have the Super Bowl that same weekend too. The way we're going.
It's getting later, isn't it? So, that's something we have to look at too, because
Yeah.
that affects the NHRA schedule,
Yeah.
and they don't want to be on the same day as
No,
Super Bowl.
not
Nobody
at all.
does.
Not at all.
So it's a few things have to come together, and then we figure out our date. But I think we have it.
On the big show in NHRA right now, and there's some guys that truly love your facility and love coming out there and just show up.
Yeah.
Basically uninvited. I
Yeah.
mean, they're always invited.
They're
They
always
just- they
welcome,
just-
certainly,
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
show up. Ron
Yeah.
Capps, Jack
Yeah.
Beckman. Like you see Jack Beckman, showing up, and he's got things wrapped around him, and he's got his picture. He's got a camera and everything. But here's a guy that is now won 2 in a row in the funny car, and sets a low ET record at Sonoma. And what were your thoughts? Kind of following this over the weekend.
Well, you've kind of seen it coming. I mean, he's got a pretty good crew chief there that used to work for John Force. So
So he's got dialed in then.
their team, well, not just their team, all the funny cars on Schumacher Racing are doing what Force's cars did, a couple years ago. They're just dominant.
Yeah.
And that's the car right there. That's the dominant car. And obviously he's got the best crew chief right now that's out there.
I believe
right now.
This photo is from the record run on, is it Saturday or Sunday? This is the semifinal.
He backed it up on
I believe it took place Friday night.
Friday
Saturday
night, and
he
then
backed
Saturday
it up.
he backed it up.
Yeah.
He had to back it
yeah.
up within 1%. That's probably Friday
that was-
night.
This is the final. This is
is that the final?
I think this is the final. Oh no, this is the record run because this
That's,
Hagen. This is
Hagen set the mile per hour
Right.
record, and Jack set the ET record.
You can tell
So,
Jack's
unofficially.
not straight right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hagen backed. Honestly, I don't know if he backed up his mile per hour. I know Jack did on Saturday. So
The interesting thing about that is that Jack's on such a roll, and he got asked about that after his win, and he's such a historian of the sport.
he's huge.
He went right back to the 80s and mentioned, one of his heroes, Don the Snake Perdome, doing that, just going out there and getting him by the throat and just winning and winning and winning. So he went right back there and dipped into his well of knowledge and put it into perspective of what he's doing.
Now, don't forget, though, NHRA does the same thing that NASCAR does. We get to a certain point. I think it's after U.S. Nationals, which is only 3 more events. You got Seattle, we have Brainerd, and then U.S. Nationals. The points get reset, and there's a top 10 countdown, or top 10 countdown. Now, obviously, if you're in first, you get a little head start. They kind of stagger the points, but things getting tightened back up. It's kind of like tightening up the field there with a 3-lap little shootout there, the green-white checkered. They tighten them back up, so it'll be fun to watch this last few races.
It'll be hard to beat this guy in top fuel though. I mean, Antron Brown's making it work.
Again, Schumacher Racing, they're just clicking on all cylinders. They're dominant teams right now, all of them. It's impressive.
By the way, this is apparently
And so is
this is this is the fan reaction to a funny car. So that's I had to put in there for Griffith.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
I love drag racing.
You love drag racing.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
Well, that dedefinitely shows it is.
Yeah.
It's sensory overload.
It
if
is
you go
totally,
to a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that photo because that's what. It had been a long time since I had experienced one of those big show cars, and when we had him out at Famoso for Saturday Night Nitro, I mean, it's interesting. You're standing on the deck between the control tower and the VIP section, how it just shakes that plywood on that deck like you wouldn't believe. And it's truly incredible.
Shakes everything.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Griffith, you got knocked over by it, basically, right?
Well, basically, yeah. When Gary Dinchen came by, it was about 200 feet out.
Yeah.
And you definitely could feel the exhaust coming out of those.
Yeah.
He was over. He moved a little to the left and got a face full, and it just the blast. It's kind of, it is it's a lot more stout than the nostalgia cars. We would say that.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're double the horsepower at least.
Double,
Yeah.
triple. But it's they burn a lot of fuel in those cars, and it makes a lot of horsepower.
But it's got to be kind of cool for you. I mean, to see these guys do well, and Caps had his engine blow.
Yeah.
I think Friday, but I mean, these guys are doing well every weekend, and it's got to be fun to see this.
It is. It's just cool. It really gives. Well, it gives a lot of fans a reason to tune in. They want to see. Everyone's got their favorite drivers, and,
right?
And I do too. But it just gives everybody, when you can come to the track and see them and relate to them, and then you go see them go off on, the tour, so to speak. It's just fun to watch them because you're pulling for them. It's kind of like having your favorite team in hockey.
I really think that's the biggest differentiator in the sport is the fact that it's the accessibility and the fact that these guys. I mean, like Beckman. I mean, basically, parking out with everybody else and running out and coming
and you
in.
see them at other events too.
Yeah.
We've got different events that happen down at the museum down south, and these guys show up just to be there, or to if there's a panel, they come and do that. During a national event, the Winter Nationals or the finals, they get an evening off. They can do what they want to do. If they choose to come there and be on a panel and talk about drag racing.
Well, I mean, you talked about it too, Mike, that like Beckman, for instance, is such a historian of the sport. I mean, he knows the March meet history frontwards and backwards
better
too.
than probably all of us in this room.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's pretty good stuff.
It really is.
All right,
Yeah,
so
it's fun.
in closing, we've got stuff coming up this month. This street race coming up on August 22nd, followed up the next week by ANRA. We'll drag Butch in here at some point to get the details on that. And then the Hot Rod Reunion coming up real quick here.
Getting here quick. It's
right.
going to be fast.
Thanks a lot, Blake. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds
See you
good.
later. All right, we'll be right back with more here on the Bako Motorsports Power Hour, brought to you by Victory, California.